The government is giving Ofcom stronger powers to deal with the BBC amidst accusations of bias. We were due to talk to the Culture Secretary about this, but instead she sent one of her junior ministers. Yes, I'm afraid she's catching up with The Traitors, the second series. No, the MPs who voted against the Rwanda bill. So, Minister, exactly how do you think the BBC is biased? Well, there's a perception in the public that it's biased. But where's the evidence of that? There's evidence of a public perception of bias. Sorry, but evidence of perception of bias isn't evidence of bias, is it? No, but impartiality is a matter of perception, and our impartial perception is of a public perception of partiality. Sorry, can you say that again? I highly doubt it. So are you saying that the BBC is biased? I think that on occasion it has been biased. Can you give me an example? Well, it's not a question of examples, it's more a question of a vibe. You know, I was on a BBC programme very recently, and I got the very strong vibe that the presenter did not like me. In what way? It was just a look she gave me, you know, and as I was explaining that the coffee cup had been poorly placed by one of her junior staff, which is why I had accidentally knocked it into her lap at the beginning of a live broadcast, it was almost like she wasn't listening. Okay, but can you give me an example of the BBC being biased in its reporting? Well, they've reported several times that Brexit isn't going well, but is that not just the reality? Not our reality. That's why we've given more powers to the board, who we've appointed to ensure that the BBC conforms to the correct conservative reality. Shouldn't the BBC try to report objective reality? There's no such thing. But as I said, our job is simply to point out that the public has a perception of bias. And where does the public get that perception from? I'm sorry? Is it possible that the public's perception is wrong? I mean, that they've got this perception of bias from years of attacks from a hostile, predominantly right-wing press and negative government messaging. Complaints from the public are going up. People are angry. But surely impartiality means you'll anger everybody sometimes. How about a programme that got 50 complaints saying it was too left-wing and 50 complaints saying it was too right-wing? Doesn't that show a sort of balance? Sounds like 100 complaints to me, and they could halve that number instantly if they simply stuck to being impartial. Right-wing. Thank you, Minister. Next up, as former frontrunner Ron DeSantis ends his campaign to be president before the New Hampshire primary and endorses Donald Trump, we ask, what's the most expensive and embarrassing mistake that you've ever made? And how much better do you feel about it now?